All right. So we're going to start our practice in a child's pose. So knees to the outside edges of the mat, big toes touch. You can come to sit back on the heels, and then we'll just walk ourselves forward. You can drop the palms, drop the chest if you can, and you can drop the forehead as well, and come all the way down to your child's pose. We'll take some breaths here. Big breath in through the nose. And let it go. Big breath in. And out. We can set an intention for our practice tonight. So whether that be to move your body, to have some time for yourself, gain some clarity, just set that intention, whatever you need tonight. If any poses are uncomfortable, you can come back to this child's pose or come back to a mini shavasana, just laying on your mat. And of course, don't push yourself too far. If something is uncomfortable, just come right back out. You can start to walk those hands in, and we'll come to a tabletop. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. We'll take some cat-cow here. So on the inhale, let's drop the belly, lift the tailbone, and bring that gaze straight forward. This is our cow. On the exhale, let's round the spine like a cat, tucking that tailbone under, chin to chest. Inhale for cow. Belly down, tailbone up, gaze forward. Exhale, cat, rounding that spine, chin to chest. From here, we can make it a little more dynamic by pressing the hips to heels from our cat, scooping along the mat into our cow. Exhale, round, hips to heels. Inhale, scoop along the mat into your cow. And you can continue moving as slow or as quickly as you like. Just warming up the spine. And the next time you pull it through your cow, you can just take a neutral spine, a tabletop, just resetting. And here we can tuck the toes and lift the hips for the downward facing dog. And let's pedal out our down dog, stretching those hamstrings, dropping one heel, the other. And take your time here. Press through the fingertips to push those hips back and get a longer spine here. We can now ripple forward to a plank. You can come to high plank, or it might be a little less challenging to drop to the knees and untuck the toes for low plank. Plug the elbows in as you come down, chin to the mat. Inhale for your baby cobra, lifting the chest, very light in the hands. You can even lift the hands to a hover. Gaze is down. Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Again, you can pedal it out. Let's look between the hands and take a couple steps to come into a forward fold, right at the top of your mat. Fingertips reaching down toward the toes. Relax the head and neck. You can sway side to side here, or take your ragdoll, which is grabbing opposite elbow with opposite hand, and hang out here for just a few more breaths. You can take a generous bend in the knees if that feels good. It's a little easier on the hamstrings to get started. Release those fingertips. Inhale, halfway lift. So flat back, palms to the shins, pressing in. Big breath in, and then exhale to fold. Again, halfway lift. Nice flat back. Exhale, fold. And bring those hands up to rise. Palms touch overhead, optional back bend. And bring those hands down to heart center. Thumbs press into the sternum. Let's take a breath in our mountain. On the next inhale, we're going to sweep those arms up overhead. Again, palms touch, optional back bend. And this time the hands are going to come through heart, and we're going to fold all the way down to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice flat back. Exhale to fold. Let's bring that left leg high and back. So right foot is forward. Knee is right over top of the ankle. Arms come up for a high crescent lunge. Reaching those arms up nice and tall. You can bring the gaze up toward the ceiling as well, just to challenge the balance. Let's open those arms out to the side. Either side, we're doing both. And center. And open. Other way. Little spinal twist. Arms can come back up. Big breath in and out. Feeling the core holding you here nice and strong. Feel those shoulder blades drop down the back. And let's bring those hands down to frame right foot. Bring that right foot all the way back to a plank. Again, you can keep it lifted in your high plank or drop the knees, untuck the toes. Plug the elbows in, lower nice and slow, chaturanga. Chin to mat. Inhale for baby cobra. Just lifting the chest or press into the hands. And lift the upper body, keeping the pelvis on the mat. You should have a deep bend in the elbows. And try to relax the shoulders. Exhale down. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Let's look between the hands and walk it up. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Make sure those feet are about hip width apart. We are going to sit back in a chair. Arms can come forward and up. Let's tuck that tailbone under and sit down a little lower. Gaze is forward. Keeping that core nice and tight. Drop it a little lower for 3. If this is tough on the shoulders, you can bring the hands, just cross them. So the hands to the shoulders. And let's stand up. Arms span out and take a fold. Halfway lift. And fold. This time that right foot is going to come high and back. And we'll take a lunge on the left side. So knees stacking over ankle. Let's bring those arms up. And again, you can open up to one side. Little twist through the spine. Look toward that back hand if you can. Challenge the balance. Center. And open the other way. And center. You should start to feel a little burn here. If you don't, widen your stance. Take it a little bit wider. You should really feel it in that front bent leg. Let's drop the hands to frame that left foot. Bring left foot back to a plank. Keep it lifted or lower down. Plug the elbows in. And come nice and low, chin to mat. Inhale, baby cobra or king cobra. Choose your back bend. And let's lower. Drop the forehead to the mat and just take a few breaths here. You can have the hands right down under the shoulders or down by your sides and a cheek on the mat. Few more breaths. And you can bring those hands back down under the shoulders. Let's tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. We're gonna lift up that right foot this time to three-legged dog. Let's swing it up and bend the knee. We can open up the hips. We won't stay here long. Open it up. You should really feel a stretch through that side body, in the hips. You can straighten that leg. You can unstack the hips. And let's bring that right knee right behind right wrist. Dropping the leg. You can drop the back leg and start to walk that foot back a little bit. This is our pigeon pose. So you might want to take a prop and put it under the hip, or you can just stay lifted as you are. We're not staying here too long. You should really feel a stretch through the hip, through that right thigh. And if this is a lot on the wrists or the shoulders, you can grab a pillow or rolled up blanket and put it under the hands. So just right at the front of your mat. Just another little modification. Option to drop down to the forearms and take your pigeon a little lower. Let's come back up. Tuck the back toes. Come into a downward facing dog from here. So just lifting that right foot up and bring it back. Pedal it out. You can come to stillness. We'll lift up that left foot, lifting it nice and high. You can bend the knee and stack the hips, opening it up on the left side. Enjoy the stretch. Couple more seconds. Straighten it up and bring left knee directly behind left wrist, dropping down that leg and wiggling those right toes back. Pigeon pose on the other side. And you can take all the same modifications you took on the right side, or you might find both sides are very different, which is very normal. You can keep it nice and lifted, or always take the option of dropping to the forearms if you'd like to. Focusing on the breath, coming back to that intention that you set. Press into the hands. Let's tuck the back toe and take a down dog here. Pedal it out if you need to. Press into those fingertips to really push those hips back. You want a nice straight spine. You can keep those knees as bent as they need to be. Let's look up between those hands. Walk it forward. Forward fold. Fingertips reaching toward the earth. Relaxing through the neck and head. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold. You can slowly begin to roll up to standing. Head rises last. Take a mountain pose. So hands by the hips. Slight bend in the knees. Drop the shoulders. Big breath in. And let it go. We're going to keep that right foot planted here. And with the left foot, we're going to take a big step back. And let's turn that foot on a 45-degree angle. So the heels should be in line as close as you can get them. And those left toes are facing the upper left corner of your yoga mat. And let's lunge into right knee, so the knees stacked over ankle. Those hips should be squared forward, and arms can reach up for warrior one. You should feel a stretch through the inside of that right thigh. If you don't feel anything, you probably just need to widen your stance a little bit. So you can just heel toe that front foot forward. Let's start to put the weight in that right foot. So that front leg. As we come light on left foot, maybe come to the toes with the back foot. and hop on to right leg. Whew, if you fall over, that's okay. Our balancing stick pose. Arms can reach out like airplane wings or bring them to the chest at heart center. Keep a slight micro bend in that standing leg and point the back toes as you hinge forward toward a letter T. For 3, 2, and 1. Back to warrior 1, exactly where you left off. Let's bring those arms down to frame the right foot. Right foot steps back to a down dog. Pressing those hips back. Let's ripple forward, high plank. Keep it lifted or drop to the knees and untuck the toes. Lower down with control. Inhale, baby cobra or king cobra. And lower. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. And this time we're gonna swing left leg back, three-legged dog, and swing that left leg forward. Let's come into our warrior 1 on the other side. So we're gonna bring that right back foot to a 45-degree angle. So right toes are facing the upper right corner of the mat. Arms can reach up nice and high. And the knee is stacked over ankle. Hips are squared forward. Engage that core. And drop the shoulder blades down the back. If you need to widen your stance, you can if you don't feel any sort of stretch. Putting that weight in the left foot, coming light on the right toes. You can take your airplane pose here. Balancing stick. So just all the weight is in that left leg. Taking your airplane arms or hands to heart center. Engage the core as you hinge forward to create a letter T. You can find a focal point here. Holding for 4, 3. Whew, if you fall out, that's okay. 2, and 1. Back to warrior 1. Let's lower those hands to frame left foot. Left foot comes back to meet right. Hips are high in your down dog. Ripple forward, high plank, or drop the knees, untuck the toes for low. Plug those elbows in as you lower. Inhale, baby cobra or king cobra. And lower back down. Let's press it up to a tabletop here. You can come to sit in the middle of your mat. From here, we're gonna come to our boat pose. So bring the hands by the hips or maybe behind the back. Let's lift one foot at a time. Bend the knees, point the toes. Keep your hands down here, or take the option of lifting one hand at a time behind the thighs. And you're really trying to squeeze those legs together. Option to straighten the legs completely and release the arms for your full boat. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the feet. Come to lie on your mat. Right on the back. Let's walk the feet in. toward the body. We can lift left foot up. Make sure that right knee is still bent. Left ankle over left knee, making a number 4 with the legs. You can press left thigh back to open the hips. Or you can begin to lift the legs, grabbing behind right thigh. You should really feel this through the hips, maybe through the hamstrings. Dropping that right foot back down to the mat. Uncross left foot. This time right foot comes up and over left knee, making a 4 on the other side. Again, option to press out that right leg, opening the hip, or bring the hands behind left thigh, interlace the fingers, pull the legs a little closer. Relaxing that left foot, flexing the right foot. So the foot that's crossed over is flexed. This can help protect the knee. Few more breaths. We can slowly begin to release the legs, uncross them. And this time, let's bring the soles of the feet together as the knees splay out wide for your butterfly pose. If you need to tuck anything under the knees, go ahead, allowing the hips to open. You should feel that low back trying to sink down toward the mat. You can close down the eyes here if you like. And begin to stretch the legs long for your final Shavasana. You can tuck the shoulder blades under the body, flop the hands out with the palms up if you like, and feel that low back press toward the mat. Recalling that intention that you set. Did you give yourself what you needed tonight? What more can you do for you? Big breath in and release. One more big breath in together and release. I hope you guys had a great class, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Namaste.